Good evening, gentlemen. Today, I'll be talking about one of the very important topic called defense mechanism, which is vital for selection in SSB. We'll talk about this why vital, because normally we have got psychology, we say there are 27 needs. And you'll appreciate needs are generally not met. There will always, when you have got a need, there will be certain obstacles coming into way. So we call it press. And press itself are of two types. We call alpha press and beta press. Alpha is what really exists. Suppose you want to study. So what is the problem? You don't have money. Your father is socially, economically not so high up that he can afford your studies. So that's the alpha press. But if you perceive that your father doesn't want to give you money, primarily because he wants to save his money rather than investing onto you, then it becomes a beta press. So because of this, there's a need, then there's a press. So there's a conflict. And because of it, there's anxiety. And as we know, we want to come to even status. We want to come back to lower energy level. So every individual tries to reduce the anxiety to the extent possible. As a human, we have developed certain mechanism. We have learned it. Either it's God-gifted or we have learned it through experimentation as we have grown since childhood till date. And we try and always use that as a shortcut without unknowingly to reduce our anxiety. So this is what is the defense mechanism. So normally, our defense mechanisms are the unconscious behavior or psychological strategies people use to avoid experiencing anxiety, discomfort, or threats to the ego. We'll talk about slightly later on what is ego. This ego is different from the English ego that we talk about it. Psychologically, ego is a very good thing. Or we can say it's a mechanism that mediates the individual's reaction to emotional conflicts and to external stressors. That is what we have talked about. When your needs are not met, there's a problem. Okay. So what happened? Because it is a survival adaptation which we have learned it. It would be misguided to say defense mechanisms are bad, wrong, unhealthy. Some of the defense mechanisms are very good. They be called a mature defense mechanism. Some are not so healthy, so it's immature defense mechanism. They tend to block our awareness of our true underlying experiences, create tension in our bodies, and make it harder for us to truly intimate and vulnerable with the others. That is what is being talked about. So this particular philosophy was given by Simon Freud, but it was documented by his daughter first time in 1937 in her famous book, The Ego and the Defense Mechanism. At that time, she only talked about 10 defense mechanisms, which were generally the negative ones, which normally, that is the psychology, positive psychology has come in. Now, earlier when we talked about psychology, we used to find out what are the complexes, what are the problems, what are the fractures in personality. That was how the psychology has evolved. Okay. Now, this was Simon Freud who really came back that our personality has got three structures on which our personality is made up of. Like a house, we have got a structure on which the house is built. Similarly, our personality is made of three structures. He called it id, superego, and ego. Id is the primal part of ourselves seeking to fulfill our basic desires, impulses. That's why if you feel hungry, I must get food. From where, how, doesn't matter. I can steal it, I can take it, I won't bother what others when I feel hungry, I'll eat it. That's the end of it. That's called eat. So we can call it an animalistic in approach. Then we've got superego. As we have developed from childhood, we start learning what is right, what is not so right. So we start accepting it, what is accepted by the society and what is not. So in other words, we say we have got certain amount of godliness. We always say every person has got certain goodness and not so good quality as well. And it is that ego which is the realistic part of ourselves, which attempts to satisfy, moderate, and balance the needs of the id, the superego, and reality. What is possible? What is possible? Okay. What is there in a latest towards study puts it, defense mechanisms are used in order to maintain mental homeostasis, means balance. Why does the wind blow? Because wind from the higher pressure moves to the lower pressure to bring equality. Similarly, when become anxiety, I want to reduce my anxiety. So that is the homeostasis and protect the conscious mind from effects of such conflicts. Subconscious mind attempts to protect the conscious mind from being aware of the uncomfortable feeling so the individuals can continue to move through the world normally with little disruption as possible. This is, and these gentlemen are still being used. Earlier it was said it has lost its importance. On the contrary, this is being used by many psychologists to help people get over the problems that they are facing in life. Okay. They have gone to Munoz. Defense mechanisms are a huge part of what has helped us survive difficult or overwhelming physical, emotional, and psychological experience as we have moved through childhood and adolescence into adulthood. Okay. Many of our somatic complaints and interpersonal problems can be traced to the defense mechanism. Somatic means you feel, suppose now you feel because of anxiety, you feel pain in the stomach. So many things which are no physical show is there. That is somatic effect is there. So the defense mechanisms are mature as well as immature. And depending upon the level, they can say at 0 level is the worst, it is a very, very negative defense mechanism. And as we go up, mature defense is the level 7. So all these defense mechanisms which are being used today are divided into 4 groups. They call psychotic defenses, immature defenses, neurotic defenses, and mature defenses. Okay. Now, mature defense is the best thing which every person would like to adopt. It's a highly adaptive defense level, demonstrating the highest adaptation to life while integrating the feeling, ideas, and consequences which comes to us. Out of the first is the affiliation. We would like to have live as a group. We would like to maintain relationship. Ultimately, we like to help others. Anticipation. Today may be a bad day, but tomorrow will be a good day. That's how it helps you to live in life. If there's a problem, I must laugh it out. Humor. Self-assertion means I must mean and say what is really right, what I feel about it. Self-observation, I must really observe my goodness or strength as a weakness. Sublimation means in even the worst situation, rather than getting engulfed by the anxiety, the problem, I must really concern something which is positive, which exists. Suppression, something which is going to trouble me and I cannot do anything at that particular time. I must suppress it behind and I'll come back and solve that problem later on. So they are all what we call mature defense mechanism. Then comes what we call neurotic defense mechanism. So that is from level 7, which is the best, we have come back to 6, observational defense level, used to distance the individual from threatening feeling while maintaining cognitive awareness without distortion. What does it mean? Means anything which is threatening to me, which is creating a problem to me, what I must dissuade, which dislocate myself, or say get away from it temporarily. So that for isolation effect, intellectualization, and undoing, they are the three defense mechanisms which are available at level 6. And level 5 is got used to maintain a lack of awareness regarding conflicting needs and desires, including repression and disassociation, etc. What does it mean? Used to maintain lack of awareness means I'm not aware of it. I say I keep it behind in my memory, So if I keep it behind, so even if it is available, I think that I'm not going to take cognition of. So there are the two types. Level 5A called hysterical, level 5B is called other neurotic. Repression and dissociation are two such defense mechanisms. Reaction, formation, and displacement are other two as far as this 5B is concerned. So though reaction, we say what is Newton's, to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Reaction should be optimal and right. So that is what that's why it is a mature defense mechanism. Displacement is, no, I may be feeling angry. So rather than taking out my anger on someone else, I should deviate myself to something constructive. Those people who get anxious and anxiety, bulk, they start writing, they start reading. So many good things can be done. So you are trying to cope with the problem in a positive way rather than a negative way. After that, then we come back to negative. Generally, the negative part, as it goes, you can see the arrow, it is going the immature defense mechanism, immature non-depressive, and immature depressive. That level 4 dismisses problem by distorting the image of self. What is distorting? No. Idealization of self. So probably it is not going to hurt me. So we'll talk about it later on as a separate topic. Then idealization of others' image, devaluation of self-image, devaluation of others' image. This is what the supposed to be called immature non-depressive. And then next is this vowel defense mechanism used to avoid the reality of stressful events, including denial and projection. Say, at our age, someone tells me that I'm suffering from, say, X illness. I say, no, I'm fit and fine. Let me go back to next doctor. There must be something wrong. Diagnosis may be wrong. So I go to the second doctor. You fail in examination. Is probably something has gone wrong. Probably one of the questions was not checked by the doctor. So let's go for reevaluation. So you are trying to delay. You are trying to deny that. Rationalization is a phenomenon. No, you have done a wrong thing. Your action was wrong, but still you try and say that you were right. Say no parents would like to ever hit a child, but a person, if many parents do that, what happens? Reasons they give it is, and I have done that primarily so that he studies. Otherwise, he was going wrong. He was going the wrong path. There would have been certainly a better way to do it rather than being harsh on the children. So that is what for rationalization. And next comes projection is very important. And projection was anything wrong, anything. You try and project to someone else. So project it. So it is not me, someone else is doing it. So this is this type of, they call a next is immature, and last is called immature depressive. They call used to eliminate ambivalence by forming a single emotion, including the splitting of the self-image and others' image. We will talk about this later on because in a separate topic by itself. And lastly, action defense level used to act or withdraw to deal with the stressors. Used to act or withdraw to deal with it. So you don't want to talk to this. Let it remain what it is. Passive aggression, help rejecting, reject complaining, acting out the other ways. And last, what is level 0 is called psychotic defense mechanism. In level 0, highly adaptive. It's highly adaptive because no, it was psychotic denial, autistic withdrawal, distortion, delusion, projection, fragmentation, concentration. These are all part of the defense mechanism. So what we have talked today is a defense mechanism. Gentlemen, this is being seen in, especially in a selection board, service selection board, both by the psychologists and interviewers generally, and some of them are being seen by the GTO. So being aware of the defense mechanism is very, very important so that we can understand our behavior pattern, why we're doing it. Because bulk of this defense mechanism I'm doing unconsciously, I'm not aware of it. So the time I become aware of it, I would certainly take a corrective measures, and I'd certainly like to go in for the negative defense mechanism to the positive defense mechanism. So it's I'm going to understand my own personality. I'm going to understand if there is any fracture in my personality, and then I can take corrective measures as and when it is required. Next, we will also be talking about each group of defense mechanisms in a separate topics. And after that, we also be talk about what we call biases, cognitive biases, and then what we call that social biases, because these are all vital for being able to be selected in SSB. If you don't understand it, you will not be in a position to fare well. I hope this is of some use. Thank you. We'll meet again.